We're doing an interview over here with a trucker, so we'll be over in a second.
Television News Center trains all kinds of people.
Acceleration, speeds.
Behavior.
We immerse them in a story, and we go out and cover a real story, and I do it just as I did with many other news organizations.
Keep doing it until we're satisfied.
The man you were looking at had a career spanning decades covering news, covering the world, witnessing history. He now has an academy that teaches people who hope to break into a business he has known and loved since he was just 19 years old. He teaches hopefuls everything from what to expect, to technique, to doing the right thing. But first up, a resume for TV, he says, is a little more complex than your average resume.
You need a resume tape, which is your demo reel or your audition tape, and we produce them. Secondly, you go to a small market and you work your way up, and the pay at those small markets is lousy. They have to consider their first year, at least, as almost a paid internship because they're going out and they're getting experience. And then they can work their way up to the larger markets. But what I emphasize with them is not only the skill of doing good television, solid writing, solid reporting, but high ethical standards, and there aren't enough of them these days.
This veteran newsman says that one of the critical skills taught here is teamwork.
After 4 takes, I stop rolling.
You stop rolling.
And in a TV news environment, that includes your camera person at some point.
Okay. This second case just has a couple batteries.
This photographer, who is getting equipment ready to take Herb's news proteges out to the location, shot TV news in D.C. for over 20 years. His name is Victor. He's done all kinds of news, even the secretive stuff.
Herb's still getting coffee, so.
Undercover stuff. It's a small camera that looks like a lipstick, tube of lipstick. And you can hide it just about anywhere, and anybody can use it, and most people can't see that it's there. I have everything I need.
Herb says that in TV, you've got to get the visuals right.
Importance of good visuals. When I train my reporters, the first thing I tell them, and I have handouts for everything, and the first thing I tell them is know and respect your cameraman, because he can make or break you, and get him involved. And we're assuming that you have one and you're not shooting your own video, but these are things. Get him involved in the product, and I don't mean just peripherally. I mean tell him what the story is as you would another reporter. Get him involved. The secret to a good interview is, first of all, of course, doing your research. Secondly, going into the interview with an open mind. Thirdly, asking tight questions that are designed to evoke a newsworthy or an interesting response. Of course, in television, we're always interested in that soundbite, but we want news.
But the American public.
Absolutely.
American
It
public,
really will require something like
How
that.
can you deal with that? I mean,
Yeah, and that's a bigger
huge-
question.
that's
We
a
have to
huge-
be concerned more with just encouraging the shipping community.
In there at night.
Not stating your opinion. Now, if we're journalists and we're doing a good job of reporting, we're seeking the truth without fear or favor, and we're reporting in context. And some people think that's subjective. No, it isn't. But that's just good reporting, because we're not here to make any public official, whatever political party or persuasion, look good, but to seek the truth. But in the interview process, tight questions, and then listening to the answers, and then following up. And if you're prepared, and if there is no need for a follow-up, then you've got your next question to ask.
Can you put that
Government access.
Can you put that in layman's terms? What's an APU? How does it work?
Sure.
And
The first thing I say is be natural, be who you are. Don't try to be somebody like Jon Stewart of CNN or Bob Schieffer of CBS or whoever. You are who you are. And you want to, what helps you a great deal in that regard is to immerse yourself in content. Think of the story, and you'll be less self-conscious. We are journalists first and last, but we've got to perform in television. Secondly, you are who you are, and what you're saying is based on your journalistic knowledge, but you've got to goose it from there. Energy is a very important thing in television news. When we're out in the story, always be thinking of how the story is progressing. I outline the story in my mind as I'm going, okay, I have this, I have a good sound bite, I need more pictures, what do I need in terms of B-roll, what do I need in terms of natural sound, and outline the story as I am going through the whole process. And when you sit down to write, and we work with them on, of course, writing their stand-ups and so on, when you sit down to write, you have that outline in your mind, you refine it, and then you begin to write.